Well, my, how the turntables have turned. What is going on, gentlemen and gentlemen? How are you? Sorry I'm late. I had a tattoo appointment. Not really. It's probably going to just be me today. Um, Hope you're well. What's happening? What you been up to? Let me know. I know what I've been up to, and we can talk about it. Flapping lips, what's up? Pull another bumper off. I've been, I think since last time, I didn't have my printer, my second printer yet last time. Uh, I got it now. I've been using it. It's fantastic. Um, it makes the X1C look small. And the X1C is a workhorse, so it's fantastic. I got about 2,900 hours on that machine right now. And I'm still on the same two nozzle hot ends that I got when it came with it. I ordered a new one though, just for fun, because when I see the prints that's coming off this brand new one, I'm like, oh yeah, I may need to upgrade and change that nozzle. I've cleaned it out so many times. I've beat it up and it's had miles of filament run through it at this point. So it's okay. They're easy to change. So, and they're really not bad. I think it was like 15 bucks for a new nozzle, like hot end. So, and then I've been doing some tutorials on Bambu stuff lately. And it doesn't matter which Bambu printer you're using. And honestly, I think what I've been doing in the way of tutorials lately applies to really any slicer out there that has those tools available. A lot of this stuff seems really similar across the industry. What's kind of nice, very nice about the Bambu software is, I mean, I didn't have to learn a new interface. It's all the same. My app on the computer can see both printers, and I just have to select the right one and do what I got to do. But yeah, the tutorials were another visit on how we find scale, but more importantly, how to cut for big prints and throw in those locators. And then last night I filmed how to add modifiers. And that video I just released minutes ago. So what a modifier is you can take away or add strength in certain areas. And the reason, necessity dictates. And so the reason I did it was because when I want to learn something, the best way for me to learn it is to kind of dig in enough to be able to show somebody how to do it and then do it. So I figured out how to do the modifiers, which is really cool. And that video went out, like I said, minutes ago. Check that out later. It's a lot of work. And then you get like 15, maybe 20 minutes, but it's an hour and a half to film it and then edit it down. And hopefully it's helpful. But the reason I did it is because this is a good example why I wanted to do modifiers. And so here's the bed for the Ford, the F-250. There is a lot going on. Like originally this file would have been two separate files. You would have had the bed and then the walls of the bed. And the walls of the bed, of course, there's two sides to it. And then the interior tray for the floor of the bed is its own thing. And so there's a lot of material in this. And so it's heavy. And one way to make it not heavy is to reduce the infill. So the infill is the density of the honeycomb structure, so to say, inside. Well, if I decrease the infill, sure, I'll lose the weight, but I lose the strength on this mechanism, which is what really makes our trucks fantastic. So I figured out how to do it where I reduce the infill of the whole piece down to 5, but etched out a little spot in the software to leave the infill alone and actually increase it to stronger. I went 77, which is nuts, but it's where I need it. So this whole floor, basically it was a rectangle. So the whole floor right here around and including this mount, I was able to just dial in the infill to a solid construction right there, and then the whole rest of it be at 5, which in the video I talk about the weight savings down to the gram. So it's really actually cool being able to do that. And I also beefed up the tongue and groove slot, and I didn't change the infill in it, but I made it 4 walls instead of 2, which is the default. And also the way you slide in and out your modifier, it can be right on the surface, or you can kind of embed it in some. And so I did that. I embedded it in some, which I didn't show that because the video would have been forever long, but I showed here where it really matters the most, how to do modifiers. So a modifier is something that I thought if I had a weak bumper, I could beef up the bumper, especially on the back because they're fused in for our stuff. Because the way this mechanism works, you can't have a bumper come on later. On the front, you can. So super cool. And so that's what I've been doing. Some Bambu tutorials. Again, I think it's going to apply to really any 3D printer software. If it doesn't, then click the link to the Bambu stuff in the description. And get you one of them. I think they're fantastic. And of course, it's the only thing that I've had experience with. And I got to say, almost embarrassed to say, I just learned how to do those locator pins, those dowel holes, where every time I put something together, it's perfect now. I used to have to just get it as right as I could. And a lot of times it made a bunch of finish work for me. Now it's right all the time. And the beauty of this material we're printing with now, and also working in 10 scale, is the opportunity to put the cuts where door panels are and lines and such exist in the model already. So it hides the work. And this stuff is coming off the printer looking so good with this PETG carbon fiber that I don't have to finish as hardcore anymore as I used to, because we've also learned how to use adaptive layer height, where around a curve, let's say, it wants to step off and plateau, I can tighten up the layer lines there so there's less work to do there or no work to do there. And you can control where that's at. There's a couple of different ways to do it. You can play with adaptive layer height to do that, or you can do a height range modifier and dial it in just a certain area as well. And I would say the opportunity for learning has presented itself lately in a very different way, because we're doing multiples of the same thing now. Instead of just making one truck and moving on, I've printed, I don't know how many Scouts at this point, and working on Fords, right? So being able to do something repeatedly, you can look at it and know that you have to do it again. So maybe you can make some improvements. Unlike before, where it would just make one and work it out. Now I know if the windows are a challenge, let's say on the Scout, I can slow it down and play with the layer line height in an area like that, whatever's giving me an issue. And if it's an overhang that's giving me an issue, I can tick the box for slow down for overhangs, And I can also tweak that number to slow down even more. There's so much you can do. And I'm just now really scratching the surface. So the beauty of printing now, unlike in the old days when it first really got going, is that how many trucks have I printed before I even messed with a setting at all? A ton is the answer. So the defaults in this equipment is enough to satisfy you. And only after 2,800 hours am I like, okay. So I'd like to say that just to not intimidate anybody who might be on the fence, because you don't have to know what I'm talking about to be able to enjoy 3D printing. And another thing that kept me from 3D printing in the first place, knowing that I wanted to get into it, but I hadn't, I thought I was going to have to know computer aided drafting like CAD or Fusion. It would definitely be nice to know it. I'm glad Kelly knows it, but I don't. All of the stuff that I'm doing, I'm able to do right in the slicer software, the Bambu slicer software. And any slicer software that comes with any printer you have is going to have a lot of the same tools. And this I know because the things I talk about, Kelly's got the K1 Maxes. It's Creality, I guess, right? He's got the same tools there. Thanks, Bird. Thank you. So yeah, don't be intimidated. You don't have to know 3D modeling. It's nice if you do, but I have been able to, in the slicer, take our front mount that is really specific and has to grab our front clip, and I've been able to get the angle right, play with the thickness of this, the depth of this, just by being kind of slick with the tools that I have available to me and learning how to cut something away, size it the way I want, and put it back and join it together and those kinds of things. So sky's the limit, man. Got my trucks of Fortune Suga build parts off to be anodized last week. Should have them back mid next week and be able to start my build. Most of the other parts going in the build are here or will be by Saturday. Fantastic. That's awesome. My first number one Scout, the red one with the really nice patina, went off to a better place yesterday. So, of course, I had to order another kit, chassis kit. So it should be here soon. Another axial. By the way, have you guys, what's the title of the show today? Your slip is showing? How many of you guys have seen the slip online about tomorrow's release? Y'all should be pretty glad about it. Know what I'm saying? I am, and I can't wait to talk about it. And it's, not every Thursday do I get on special to talk about releases, but I'm liable to go on again tomorrow to talk about what happened and what's going on. So if you're into crawling and just overall badass trucks, click the link in the description. Click it today. It'll work for tomorrow. It'll work. It stays on you. The way this stuff works, it's called a cookie. So, man, click the links in the description if you want to help support the channel for free. If you're going shopping anyway, Amazon, Bambu, A-Main, Horizon, it's all there. Dirty Thirds. We'll have to talk about it tomorrow, I'm thinking. The cat's out of the bag, I want to talk about it really bad. However, I'm just going to let it be. Come by, check me out tomorrow. It's different. It's still that, but it is not the same old thing underneath that it was before. And if you know me, you guys know I'm a 10-3 aficionado. There are a ton of 10-3s, and underneath they are very different. Down to the nuts and bolts, I have a pretty good idea about the differences. And so pictures is all I needed to know what's different about this one. And it's definitely up to date, I would say, for the better in all kinds of ways. So come by, nerd out with me tomorrow. I'll probably talk about this tomorrow night, at least for a minute. 33rds, Aunt Mo. Good to see you guys. I think I was late because I had to go get coffee. We don't have any for tomorrow, and I think there may be some ready. I am going to get some. I'll be right back. Donald Warren in the house. What up? So, yeah, do me a favor if you guys are 3D printing as well. Take a look at those tutorials. Leave a comment and tell me what it is you want to see next. They've been fantastic to me. And so I'm really over the last, since I got that printer, nearly every video except a couple ready to runs has literally been 3D printed something or other. But I haven't really focused on any of the how-to because I didn't know. I just dragging in stuff, sizing it up, and hitting print. But I've been playing with this stuff a lot lately. And so I'm glad to share our approach. There's sometimes many different ways to achieve the things you might want to do. Look, obviously I'm geared at trucks, but I think the whole idea of how do you do big prints? How do you scale it? How do you put the locators in it so the gluing is perfect? How do you make it stronger in one area and lighter everywhere else? Like all of this stuff I think is pretty good. And, you know, I mentioned modifiers in that first tutorial, and one of the guys commented and said, yeah, man, I'd really like to see how you do that. And so that's why I say, like, comment, because that comment alone was motivation really to like, all right, let's go ahead and figure this out. So I spent a minute. Literally, anything you want to do, it's out there. I watched a video for 6 minutes and learned how to do it, and then I made a video on how to do it. So anything you want to know or have me cover or watch me, you know, stumble through, comment in those tutorial videos, and I'll try to make it happen. No, I didn't run him off. He's got stuff going on. He's got stuff going on. He told me earlier he wasn't going to be able to come. So, yeah. Man, I noticed my X1C was, I don't know if you guys see the same kind of ads I do. You know, how the algorithm is, it feeds you what you're into. So I get a lot of 3D printer stuff, ads for filament and whatnot. Donald, they are based on the Bambu platform, but like honestly, most slicers have the same tools. So I think it's still helpful to look at. And I know when Kelly and I talk, I don't know if he's ever not been able to try what I've discussed with him. So he's on Creality. He's got the same software. Now he does know Fusion and he works in and off platform and then he brings it in and then he does it. I'm doing everything in the slicer. He could do more in the slicer if he wanted to, but he's familiar with Fusion, so he's doing it that way. A couple extra steps probably involved in that. I don't know 3D modeling except for the little bit of Tinkercad I've messed with, and I'm able to do a ton of stuff in the slicer software and things that were right under my nose the whole time. I'm just now learning. So I'm glad to share it, and I have been. I think those tutorials are good. And the how to scale it big and cut the locators, dude, that video did really good on the numbers for, you know, this little channel here. So yeah. And honestly, I owe it to him. Bambu changed my RC life for the better. Mike SSI in the house, man, what up? Good to see you. Thank you so much for coming by. Hope all's well. Thanks for being a member of the channel. Thank you for everything you've done. It means the world. It is a nice collection, but it keeps getting smaller. Good thing I can make more. I sold my beautiful red #1 Scout yesterday. And that's cool. That's how we have coffee right now and for tomorrow. And of course I replaced the kit, you know, because dude bought it like a roller. So I popped out my hobby wing and my servo and, you know, cleaned it up and shipped it out. And so now I'm down a chassis. So, I mean, got to replace it. So I did. Yeah, I actually have the FC150 up on Facebook for sale, and my Land Rover, which is out of sight, is for sale. I mean, honestly, kind of everything is. But what is really for sale is those kits for the Scout and the F250 1969 on the RC3D Fab Factory website, linked in the description. But after I've talked to more and more people, you know, the kits are great, but I think a lot of people just want stuff already assembled and put together, which doesn't surprise me. I mean, when you think about the ease of these things to come off and on, and who knows, maybe someday I'll get something with a little longer wheelbase like tomorrow and start thinking about crew cab trucks. Huh? Or panel trucks like this I put on a leafer, but maybe if I have something with a longer wheelbase, I can redo this one Fab Factory style for easy off and on. Yeah, man. And I feel like we're the great go-between. You know, a lot of the hard body builders kits out there are very involved. There's a ton of parts to them, and that's great. But those are relegated to being on a, you know, leaf sprung chassis most of the time, which is cool. It's fine. It's going to be smaller tires, a little more trail, a little less performance, but you know, it's fine. But we're trying to bring that scale vibe to the most popular stuff out there. That's why we redesigned the F250 to work with big tires by shortening the bed, which allowed us to bring out the whole truck. It looks great. And my, you know, the first F250 I did was the 6 scale version, and you guys have seen it. It had the red door on it. Well, what I'm going to do now is, because the fidelity I'm getting off of the printer with this carbon fiber PET G and glass fiber PET G, I'm going to let the printer paint this door red. because I have a 2 nozzle and the AMS system and the extra AMS HT. So it's like having 2 AMS units without having 8 spools up there. And that's probably the next tutorial I'm going to do. And I actually teased it a little bit at the end of the tutorial that went out this afternoon. I'm going to let the printer paint that door red. So I've been waiting on it. I got white glass fiber, PET G, and red. And we might mess with it a little bit tonight because the tutorial is going to be, let's show you how to paint that on in the software, which until you see somebody do it, you have no idea. And again, I watched some other guy who's doing it. Most of these videos that you find on Bambu Labs, it's always going to be a tchotchke, like a little dragon or a keychain or something kind of goofy for me, but still helpful to watch somebody work through it. And so yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I've already got it in. I've already played with it. Usually if I do a tutorial, I've done it once already, and then I'll throw it away and do it again. And the tutorials feel a lot like the live does. I literally use the same exact software and then share screen, so you see exactly what I'm looking at on the screen. And I think it's helpful. Aside from using AI to make the thumbnail so people will actually click it, it's been fantastic. Thanks. And your blazer's looking good, dude. Your blazer's looking awesome. Mike Bird, thanks. Yeah. Absolutely. So I'm over the moon. What can I do to help? That's kind of the guy I am, man. I'm super blessed. I get a dude at work too. And it's pretty good. But I need to sell some trucks, right? To keep this party rolling. And I also put up the lacing jigs for both Pro Motos, the street bike and the dirt bike. A lot of people bought the aluminum wheels for the Pro Moto, but then when they got them, they're like, how do I lace these up? So there's files out there for the lacing jigs, but not everybody has a printer. So I posted those up too. So that's on the Shopify as well. So anybody has a Pro Moto and they want the lacing jigs, if you have the Pro Moto MX and the SM, there's a breakdown. It's like a bundle. So if you buy both sets, it's cheaper than buying one set. But if you only have the MX, I got it. If you only have the SM, I got it. And I'm on print on demand. It's not like I have inventory of it. So if you order one, I can generally have them out in a day or 2 or 3. Depends what the printer's doing. This printer too also cuts vinyl and has a laser on it for like engraving. So I've got a lot to learn on it, but I'm trying to cover the basics right now in regards to what we do, so I can have that kind of exist as a repository until I figure out how to cut vinyl, because I'm going to use the vinyl to cut stencils. And if you have a laser printer, you can cut your own stickers after you've printed them off, which is nice. So there's a lot you can do with this. I've yet to really scratch the surface. Yeah, and I already have the files. There's nothing to do to those Low Z Pro Moto files really, other than just drag them on and print. So, and the infill doesn't have to be crazy. So, I think I can print them off in a day with both machines, as long as it's not already doing something. I mean, it's okay. People are usually okay to wait a little bit, and I think I do a good job to communicate with folks, because when anything happens on that Shopify, I get an email. So, but as far as the used stuff and the one-offs, deal direct. And Kelly's got stuff up. If you guys are following him on Facebook, you should. Um, KKRC76 and also RC3D Fab Factory. He's got some, of his 6 scale bodies and other stuff that he's letting go of as well. That's not official Fab Factory stuff, but it's fine. We got our personal stuff too. Yeah, he's getting rid of that Blazer. Yeah. I actually I'm thinking about getting rid of one of my 6 scale bodies, my Snow Star. I'll probably make another one though with these new files. They're a little better. But the only thing I don't like about the Snow Star is I could just make it work with what I have, but I kind of want to just print a new one. With all the stuff I've learned lately and make the finish work super easy for myself. And honestly, with the AMS, the beauty of the AMS on this new H2D is that when you do switch colors, it doesn't cost you the same amount of waste or time that it cost me on the X1C. And I'll explain to you why. With the X1C, there's one nozzle. So when there's a color change, it has to purge what's in there, retract what's fed to it, and then re-put in the new color, and then flush out some more, and then print it, and then change again. So what's beautiful about the H2D is there's 2 nozzles, and both can be loaded up with the color you need. So it's just got to change which nozzle it's using. It doesn't have to retract and flush and all this kind of stuff and waste a bunch of time and filament, which is really neat. And we're going to see that in action here soon. And I think what's cool, I may work this in both printers, because when you preview or slice it after you've done something, you get to see how much material and time it's going to cost you. And so I can run this project through the X1C and get the numbers for what's this going to cost on time and filament. And then I can do the same thing on the H2D that's way more efficient and literally see the difference. It's enough to say there's a difference. I'm the kind of guy that wants to know what is the difference. And the tutorial I put out earlier today on the modifiers, I talked about that too, down to the grams. What's the difference with this infill, that infill, adding modifier, not having a modifier, all that stuff. So, because my goal was to save weight on this big chunk and just make it strong where it needed to be. It'll cut the print time down a ton. Now, I mean, if I were to just print it one solid color, it's even better on time. But, I need to show off this machine. So that's what I'm going to do. And the beauty of that is I get to learn as I go. I've done I really only recently messed with the AMS on the X1C when I was doing those lenses, because I was doing the bezel silver and then the lens, the clear red stuff. And I learned a ton doing that. I also learned to not do that, because the PETG translucent red and translucent anything has different properties to it than the regular just silver PETG that I was doing. So it didn't really matter what I did. I never really was happy with the adhesion between the layers on that different style of PETG. If the silver was translucent, let's say, or if the red was just red and not a translucent red, it would have worked a lot better. But because it was slightly different compounds, I could never really get it. But white PET G glass fiber and red PET G glass fiber, same material, only difference is the color. This is going to do way better. And it's also bigger instead of a little tiny lens. So I think I've got better odds of it doing okay. But I'm just going to go for it. I'm not going to test it. I'm just going to go for it. So be looking out if you want to see how that happens and how that goes down. With the H2D printing the lenses, I would have the same results with the H2D printing the lenses. I would have wasted less filament and time, but the problem still exists because the difference in material. The silver, just solid silver PET G, would have been great for a 2-color on something that was like it. But the translucent stuff, even though it's PET G, it's got different compounds in it. And so that was always going to be a problem. And it was. I tried and tried and tried and tried and tried. And I was never really happy with the results. But I learned so much doing that when I decided to quit going for the 2-color and just go red all the way, they print off really nice and smooth. Really nice. They don't look like a print. They're solid. Because you can set up an ironing tool on this stuff that once it's done, it does exactly what it sounds like. It basically goes around, and the heat of the nozzle smooths it out, which makes those red lenses and bezels look really nice. Yeah, chrome markers are fine. I've done a ton of that. It's when it's really tiny, it's kind of something. And again, I'm trying to learn what all the machine can do. I've been doing silver markers and Sharpies and stuff. I got them sitting right here. But think about if instead of just making one, we're trying to change the world with these scouts. So I've got, this is lenses and buckets and marker lights. This is the second bag of these that I've made for the scouts. So I get the opportunity to learn on these, but kind of nice. I don't have to silver marker these up. And that's up to the guy who gets one, because you can silver out the bezel. And some scouts don't have a silver bezel on that rear light, and some do. So it's still scale regardless. And then the orange marker light, same thing. There's a little metal bezel that if you Sharpie around it, it's already molded in. It's going to look really fantastic. But if you leave it alone, it's cool too. Yes. The 3D printing channel. Will the Ford and Blazer have lenses? Yes. And they're a little bit smaller. There's a little less going on with them. They're not going to be nearly as involved, but I've already got my print plates built out for the Ford. I just need to do the lenses. But I've been printing big pieces off instead right now. So, and I'm really dying to do the print the white. Yeah, really a lot of it's been black lately. You know, we were buying black PET G, and then the carbon fiber stuff basically all comes in black unless you go get it somewhere else. Bambu has some colors of the carbon fiber, but typically you're just going to find black. So what's nice about the glass fiber is it prints the actual same settings, and it feels the same when it comes off the printer. And glass fiber gives you the opportunity to use a lot more colors. So I'm going to start doing more colors. I think maybe that's going to help us move some of these. You know, they're all black, and so you look at that and you're like, okay, I got to paint it. So if I can have it coming off the printer looking like, maybe I'll just leave it alone. and not have to paint it and enjoy it, I think that's probably a win. So I'm gonna start doing that. And first thing is gonna be I've got white and red. So that's what we'll do. And I won't use up too much red on just the door. So, but that's once you get into colors though, you better make sure you have backups of colors, or what's going to happen is you'll get almost done with something and then have to change. Then you're definitely painting it at that point. These are coming off so good that you don't have to paint them unless you want to. And that was my goal. I love painting them though, without a doubt. But not if I'm making 20 of them. So yeah, that's a better product for you guys. It's a more premium filament, and it's more heat resistant as well. Yeah, so the Ford and Blazer is going to have lenses. The lenses are so small on the Ford, though, that if you want to run lights, you're going to be the one drilling the holes out in the body to do it. So you'll get the lenses to mount in there, but if you want to run lights, that's on you. It's just the buckets are not very big. So honestly, a soldering gun, a little drill, and you can melt your hole in. And run your lights in, of course, through the back, and then your work gets hidden by the lenses. But the bulbs would be really small for the Ford front and back. So we're giving you the lenses, but on that one, it's on you. On the Scout, they're big enough, and we already had a head start that I was like, you know what? Let me make it where if somebody wants to do lights, it's already done. Because also the way the files came, the buckets were separate. They're molded into the grill on the Ford though already. It's not separate. Yeah, 3mm or smaller. I wouldn't even want to go smaller on I wouldn't want to go any bigger, I mean, on the Ford at all. And the buckets are part of the grill and they're already in. So it's easy. You could make it happen. And then of course you'll get the lenses, but the buckets are part of the grill already. So it is what it is on that. But yeah, you'll get the headlight lenses, marker light lenses, and then you can see how little these are on the back. You're just going to get the lenses. If you want to do lights, you're on your own. And at a point, it's not worth it sometimes, especially on this where we've got the tub and the sidewalls already figured out. So if you're going to come through with lenses here, you've got some plumbing work to do with this bed. So that's why we're not doing them on this one. A guy could if he wanted to bad enough, but I'd say forget it. There'll be other ones where it's a little easier. Yeah, the front would be way easier to do than the back. The back, there's some messing around to do, and especially because we've got the floor already meshed to the bedsides. I would say don't. I would say just skip it on that one. I put lights on that first Scout because I could and I wanted to. A lot of times I use their 5mm lights. I just buy the axial lights because there's no light controller necessary. They wire into or plug into any extra channel on your receiver, and you don't have to worry about the voltage or any kind of light controllers or anything like that. Donald wants to know why he's the only one asking questions. Yeah. That's it. So, yeah, I'll probably pop in tomorrow and talk about tomorrow. Some of you guys will be glad. Yeah, the axial lights. I always buy the light kits for the CJ7 or the SR5 because you get an extra set. Some light kits you buy aren't going to have marker lights, but what's nice about the SR5 and the CJ7, links in the Discro, is that you get the orange marker lights too. Whether you use them or not, I always like to get more. And when I do SCX6 projects, I buy the lights for the honcho because you get some extra lights then too. But generally, you're going to have to cut wires and stretch it out. So keep your dead servos around because you can use those wires to stretch and get to where you need to get to when you're doing a custom one, because he can type the fastest, says Mike. I used to video edit in Adobe Premiere Pro for years, basically since 2012. But I can't do it. It cost me 30 something bucks, maybe 40 bucks a month or something to have it. I can't do it. So I'm back on iMovie, which is way better than it was when I first started. And the first videos were on iMovie back in the day. And then once we got to making videos for motion, we were on the Adobe. And Adobe's great. I really know it like the back of my hand. Like many things in life, I've underutilized all it can do. But some of that boils down to know-how and the kind of machine you have. If you're trying to do animation or anything, fancy, you really got to have the system for it. So I got rid of Adobe at least a year ago at this point, and I've been on iMovie. And once you get your stuff in there, honestly, there's videos for everything now. Like if I had to fix my washing machine, I will look up how. And generally, I can do it. Depends what it is. I mean, at least even if it only helps me diagnose maybe what's wrong. But there's some things I'm not going to do, man. But there's other things. Yeah, man, I can do that. I'm not sure I necessarily understand that statement, Aunt Mo, but I wish I did. Yeah, man. Windows. On the Scout, because the window's flat, it was still a challenge, but it's easy for us to. I had Kelly cut a recess into the window frame so we could set the glass in there, the plexiglass, Lexan, whatever. And then what we cut out is actually the weather seal to go back in. So you can hide your cut and the glue joint on the Scout really slick with this little stencil. Um, I'll show you uh, the weather seal. So what we cut out of the Scout, once you get your window set in that recess that wasn't in there, I had Kelly do that. Then you can cover up the window right there and hide your work, which is, I think, fantastic. Now I'm still working it out on the Ford, and I've done curved windows before. And when you're doing a curved window, that's when you want there may be a groundhog. I need to go run off. Nope. Uh, when when you're doing the curved windows, it's a challenge. I like the as thin as I can get it almost. But what's nice about the Bisrodny files that we're using is a lot of times there's a stencil, so to say, like this is the window for the front. So what I'm going to do, I printed this off because what I'm going to do is heat it up and lay it flat. So at least I get the right size of plastic to work with. And then I'm going to shape it around. I'm not going to melt them all flat. So I got one I'm going to flatten out to get the cut for the pattern on the plexi, whatever you want to call it, Lexan, whatever. And then I'll try to shape it. It's a trick, though. I'm not going to lie. With the curved windows, it's a trick. You'll see some guys that don't even offer windows in some of that stuff. If you ever wonder why, it's because it's round. And so this is a good example of a round one. That window's round also. And for me, I mean, look at that, dude. You have to make concessions sometimes. So for this one, I cut it big so there's surface area inside the truck out of sight to attach it with. Otherwise, you'd have to be, how are you going to get it perfect where it shows? It looks pretty good because I hid the work inside. So with this one, I would get a piece on or one side in, and especially these on the side where it really kind of dives back. You look at the roundness of that weather seal, you can see how severe that bend has to get. I used a lighter to heat up the plastic and shape it by hand a little bit. Otherwise, it holds that tension on it. So if you put that tension on it and heat it up, it'll kind of set there. And legit, the plastic I use on some of those windows when I'm going thin is the stuff that comes on my kids' baby doll boxes. Christmas time, there's a reason dads handle the trash. It's because homie's going to cut the plastic out of all the boxes and reuse it for windows. It's not the toughest stuff, but it's thin and it's free. And I actually had a window. It was really curvy on the this guy. This window was really curvy on the front of this. It came out. And the reason it came out is because I crashed it hard at Beat the Creek. Like rolled it over really bad or jammed a stick right through the window. I can't remember exactly what it was. Yeah, free 99. Um, if it wasn't for that big crash or stick, I can't remember exactly what it was now. Um, that window would have held up, but it broke. It didn't break anything else though, which is nuts. Absolutely nuts. Awesome. Thanks for the comment, Maker Time. Glad to do it. I'll do it. All those comments are great for the channel, great for the videos, and good ideas for things to go over. Yeah, man. And man, the better those videos do, the better for everybody, because when those videos do well and the engagement's there, more people get to see them. And then I get the numbers I need to keep impressing these guys enough to send stuff. I'm blessed beyond belief. For you guys, for the channel, for the whole thing. And if it wasn't for the channel, when I reached out to those guys, they wouldn't have listened to me at all. And just amazed, grateful, because it's been really great to be able to 3D print, and I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have done it without them. Stuck on airplanes. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I love planes. I just haven't had a chance to go do them. I haven't made time for it. I'm a dad of a couple teenagers and a 10-year-old, and I'm happy wrenching on trucks right now. But I love planes, and I always will. What have you been flying? It's in your price range. Yeah, free is always good. Absolutely. It's resourceful. You know, it's all about the way you say things. Corporate speak, they talk about opportunity to do this or to do that. What it really means is somebody dropped the ball and is messing up, but it's just a nice way to stay positive. 13 grandkids. Holy smokes. Man. You got a football team and a couple to manage the team. $13. A Fokker, Bolsa, USA. Sweet. 5 months. That's a project. That is a project. I'm a foamy homie. Nothing against wood, but I've got very little experience with it. I've flown some wood planes and I've had some wood ARFs, but I didn't ever have to build any of it. They're just assemblies. Just assemblies. Maybe someday. I've thought about printing planes off, but I'm so busy and happy with the trucks, man. And dude, the foamies are so easy. And I like that about them. I like that about them. There's some wood ARFs that I want though. There's one PT19 that I saw at a show, and it was an old kit. It was gorgeous. It might have been silk on it instead of covering. And some kits, they cheat and they don't really give you the airfoil for real on the tail. and it's just flat. Um, this was not that way, and it looked dynamite. And the guy had converted it to electric. And it was big, and it flew so nice. It was Ben Harper, the guy that makes the humongous foam like C-47 and other really big foam planes. People know him from flight test and stuff like that. I think it's Harper or Harbor. Ben, I did a video on him with that big DC-3. I saw it live in Alabama in person. I filmed it. Challenges are fun. And, talk about the pucker factor. When you got that much time in a plane, no matter what it's made out of, it's a different feeling. And I can appreciate that. I really can. The Corsair, says Donald. Yeah. I have a weird relationship with Corsairs. I ain't gonna lie. I took one to the hospital once. Every time you fly it, I shake. And that's fun though. Like, I don't really do helicopters, but I got one the other day because I like to be well rounded and know what I'm talking about with RC. And so I got the 235, the Blade 235 collective pitch. It'll do more than I can ever have it do. And, I can fly the pants off of really about anything. Good enough. Bring it home in one piece, land them well. What more do you want? And of course, there's a little bit of nerves with that on a maiden flight or whatever. But been there, done that. I've flown hundreds of foamies, man, hundreds. And the helicopters, though, like very little time on that. So every time I fly it, I am nervous. And it's fun to be nervous sometimes with something that puts you up on your toes. It's fun. I finally got my Aero Scout put together. It's been sitting in the box forever. It's all together now. I need to take it out. Of course, there's nothing to that one. There's some cool mods people are doing to it, like adding an EDF motor to it. And there's a tail dragger conversion. There's all kinds of stuff you can do to that Aero Scout that I keep hearing about and I'm thinking about doing sometime. What I like about it is I don't really have to go anywhere else to fly it. It's so easy. Fly it about anywhere. Yeah, it's nice to have something scary every now and then, I think. I really do. Honestly, I missed there was a couple years there where I was racing all the time. And that puts the nerves on you a little bit, and that was fun. And I really kind of miss racing. And you don't have to do it officially to enjoy it. So it's like there's some of the new race rigs that I would like to have, like the sprint car and the new late model. But it's like, if I'm not planning on going to the half an hour away to the Oval on the weekend and spending all day there, then it's like never going to get run. But like there's a cul-de-sac, I'm looking at it right now. And if my neighbor had one, I would get one in a heartbeat. And that's kind of fun. Things that make you nervous. But it doesn't matter what it is, you can race it. I mean, the last thing I guess that we raced was those pre-runners, those crawlers that we turned into 40-mile-an-hour ridiculous rigs. Nice. Rough landing, too slow. Blade 230, that's supposed to be a good one. What's nice about the new technology in the helicopters now, like that new 210 that came out, used to be it was kind of weird with the safe mode where you could only use it in one mode and not the others. But with the new blade in Fusion 210, I think it is, it's got a lot of nice hardware and metal parts, metal and carbon fiber parts on it. Um, and they've changed the technology where you can flip it into safe mode in any of the modes, whether it's a stunt mode or not, and you're not going to lose that head speed, which would happen before. And that's kind of scary when everything's going good. And then, you're hitting this safe button because you're panicked, and then you hear the throttle go down. It's kind of scary. So it doesn't do that anymore, I guess. Too slow and tip stalled it. That's usually what it is on a rough landing. I mean, every now and then it's too fast and skipped it in. But usually, if my landings get ugly, it's because I got too slow. And I'll tell you what my trick is for that. And I don't always get it right. I find that when I think about full stop landings, that's when I have the trouble of getting too slow. So I trick myself ahead of time into calling it a touch and no. Because when I come in on a touch and go, I do a better job of carrying speed and keeping that wing flying. I don't know why. It's just my mindset. So on a touch and go, I'm coming in. I got great control, just the right amount of speed, full authority when I need to steer it. And it usually works out pretty good. And, the reason is so when you pour the power in, you're already moving and nothing happens abruptly and it's nice and smooth. So I've done it over and over where I'll shoot touch and goes the whole flight, and then I come in for the landing at the end and mess it up. And so I finally told myself, okay, this landing has got to be a touch and no. I'm going to treat it just like a touch and go, but don't go. And it works. It really is the right approach for me. And I always mention it because I think it can be helpful. But nothing's as good strategy wise to bring in a plane in multiple pieces in a garbage bag than the rolling loops with a sport jet on the very first day. Yeah. Rolling loops are the ticket. Yeah. Bro. There's a video out there, and the jet was called it was the E-Flight Havoc, and it was from a few years ago. And man, I was ripping it. I was feeling so good that I thought at the end of the flight I should try a rolling loop. Basically, each kind of a boxy loop, each face of the box, I did a loop, a roll. Well, man, I bled off so much speed doing that. When I came down the backside, there was no fourth loop because the third one I had bled so much speed, it was all nothing but a full speed try to recover smash into the ground. And when that happens, you want to cry, but you have to laugh it off. So we were walking out to the crash, and I turned around and looked at the camera and blamed it on the electronics as a total joke. Because if you've been on the internet at all around flying people, not everybody will just accept responsibility when they crash. And so this was obviously my fault. So blaming it on the electronics and having a laugh was my coping mechanism, I suppose. I feel bad still because Bobby was going to fly it next. I bought that. They didn't send it. I bought that one. Yep. It happens, man. It happens. And you got to own it. You got to own it when that happens. Yeah, man. I literally think about flying all the time still. I really do. I just haven't done it. I haven't done it. I've got a couple new ones that I want to get out. I got the Twin Otter 1.4 that I know is going to be fantastic, and I can't wait. Um, I got another timber, the 10th anniversary one, and it's got floats on it. So snow or water is what's going to happen. And I even put the landing gear for the wheels, I put skis on. So I'm not going to take them off because that was kind of a big deal. So if I want wheels on that timber, I need to just get a new set of landing gear because I don't want to undo the skis. But the timbers fly amazing. And that's the 10th anniversary. I always carry an extra blue box in my pocket just in case. Throw it in the wreckage. Yeah. Yeah. I still have sneaking suspicion on my Corsair event, but I'll blame myself. Honestly, I should go back in time because I swear I had that Corsair on a live stream back in the day, and maybe I should go try to find it and see if it was me or it, because if I pre-flighted it on the live stream, I could be able to tell if it was me or not. It was probably me. Reversed ailerons. Come on. I put skis on my timber. I have 2 sets of gear for the winter swap. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, I got the floats on it now. The skis are sitting there on what was the wheels, and I should just get another set of wheels. It was the Corsair where I did the ailerons, yeah, and then I did a repair video on it, which that repair was so extensive, it shows almost every method ever needed to repair a foamy. Oh, bro, go back in time and watch that Corsair video. I owned it, crashed it, took it to the hospital, inspected the damage, and then I had 4 hours worth of footage that I whittled down to 40 minutes and did, I think, probably one of the best foam repair videos on YouTube because it was bad and I rebuilt it. New structure, new parts, but also fixed what was there, epoxy, filler, paint, the whole deal, man. Did I give it full down when it flipped? It all happened so fast, man. All I know is it felt like a big old suplex. It didn't look as bad as it was, but it was. It broke the structure it hit so hard and flat and verted. It broke the some of the structure in the horizontal. And so there's a part in that video where I'm grooving out a trench to epoxy in carbon fiber. There's a lot of different repairs on that, dude. A lot. Thanks. I guess. That's my fault. You could rebuild it. What's hilarious is when that stuff happens, a lot of us are so kind of mad at ourselves. We'll buy the parts needed to repair it that day or at the field. And so I bought a bunch of parts, new fuselage, a bunch of new parts. But I never used the fuselage. I think I got new prop stuff and a new vertical stab maybe, but I fixed everything else on that one. And then I went out and flew it without reversed ailerons, and it was good. Owned it. I could have owned it the first time. So crazy. If you go back and watch that, there's like a series. There's 2 or 3 videos on that Corsair, the wreck, the taking it to the hospital. You can hear ambulance sirens in the background. I mean, I thought that video actually was going to go like nuts viral, but it didn't. It didn't. We were literally at a doctor's office with that thing, x-rays and everything. I mean, come on. Who's doing that? That's the one it was. It was the bird cage. Yeah. It flies pretty good if you have your ailerons right. Yeah. Bionic plane. You can rebuild it better, stronger, faster. Yes. Steve Austin. Let's go. Let's go. Well, let's see. I keep checking to see if anybody's available. Nope. That's all right. So I wish he was here to talk about it, though. I won't. I'll let him tell most of it. But so this weekend was the International Harvester International Trucks show at Fort Wayne, where the factory used to be. Kelly went and he took a couple of our trucks and he drove them around at the show. I saw a post from that Facebook group, the international Facebook group there. What's it called, dude? And one of the first pictures was Kelly's, our rigs, which was awesome to see. I tagged him in it. See if I can find it. What's that group called? Sorry. It's one of the international pages on Facebook, but they just had the show in Fort Wayne this weekend, and man, his stuff was on the same page. RC Tanks took a Tiger and a T-34 and made the 34 Tiffer from Kelly's Heroes. Sweet. Man, I got a buddy in Florida that is into tanks big time. He had a whole setup in his yard for him that was pretty sweet. Yeah, man, that Corsair was nice. I got rid of it, but I've gotten rid of so much stuff that I liked. But you got to make room for the rest of it. You know. Well, look, I'm probably going to go in a minute. There's something you guys want to talk about? Bring it up. If there's something you want to see, let me know. And I'll be glad to show you. I got to get some painting done and some sanding and stuff. I got a handful of these scouts ready to go, and then kits ready to go, and then already built ones ready to go. I got a video I need to do on the assembly, and I want to put together a little manual too. I think printing different colors is going to help. These black ones may end up getting painted, and I've sold more that I've already painted than I have kits. Obviously, the painted ones are already assembled, and I think maybe that's the thing. These kits right now, they're still at a low introductory kind of price. We're using better material now, and we've actually really done cost analysis, kind of breakdowns on time and everything else. By the time we finally get these into the hands of some of these big channels, and I think we're going to get, I hope we get busy at that time, it will not be what it is now. So think about it. If you're on the fence, let me know. And if you're OG status, if you guys have been, if you're here and you've been with me for a long time, just hit me up personally. And I'll honor the old price, so to say. But yeah, we're pumped. Got a lot going on. Kelly's been super busy. Things going on for him. I just started a new position at my job. Same company, but so a lot going on. School just started. Man, eternally grateful and super blessed. No matter how struggle bus it seems sometimes, it's all right. It always seems to be. GUP conversions. What is that? I don't know tanks very well. I'll show you guys a couple of roofs, though. Came off the new machine. I mean, these details and scoops and this and that are a bit of a challenge sometimes. That's remarkable to me how that's coming off. And the texture is good enough to leave it alone if you wanted to, but it's going to take paint good too. And there's just a tiny little bit of lining here at the front leading edge. And I don't think I did the adaptive layer height on it, but that's enough to live with. That's not bad at all. A little bit, Aunt Mo, especially if it's good, like the older stuff. Honestly, some of that slips into my speech here and there. I may be a little bit of a pop culture aficionado sometimes, depending on how it relates to my own nostalgia. That's the inside of it, looking good. And then this is it even feels nice. So that was carbon fiber. And then this is going to be blown out because of the light. Dude, it looks so killer, right? This is the glass fiber white. And it blows it out, of course. But man, it did amazing. It really did. I mean, when I think about some of these parts don't need any attention, and I think it's amazing. Almost everything before that I was doing in PLA always needed a ton of attention. So the fact that you get a kit that you can still work it and you can still make it dynamite, but if all you do is assemble it and run it, you'll be fine. I've shown you guys some of these painted ones that I've sanded and gone crazy on, and painted ones that I just painted. You can't tell from 10 feet, 3 feet away whether I did anything to them or not. Yeah, that's what I was trying to talk about. Harvester Homecoming, that's what it's called. I tagged you in the post they put up on Facebook. The picture of these little scouts was the first picture in their gallery. Hop in there, say hello as well. I bet they were, man. We never connected, so I didn't go. Yeah, say hey, dudes, because I'm fitting to be splitting. I asked because there was a song by Lost Boys called It's All Right. Like you just mentioned, old school. Maybe look up Lost Boys. Sure. Man, I bet they were, dude. How can you not? Honestly, I just love the Scouts for all kinds of reasons. Their looks, first of all, I like international trucks. And as a crawler, you can't pick a better truck that has that kind of approach and departure angle. You just can't, not without making it a Jeep. So, yeah, I like them. Donald, you too, man. Have a good one. Have a good one. I thought about kit bashing this Travelall into a 2-door so it could go on a regular chassis. If I made it a 2-door instead of a 4, it could I could make it bigger arches and stuff, and run regular size tires on a 12.3. The PLA body didn't like the sun. Okay, good thing we diverted tactics to Pet GCF. I ordered some Pet GHF from Bambu that should be here. So, did they make a 2-door? I don't think so, but I can. Who knows? Maybe I'll just end up with a longer wheelbase chassis that we can do crew cab stuff on, because I refuse to do crew cab stuff on a regular 12.3 or an SCX6. But on a longer stretched out chassis, I think I might. And I love the shape of the back end of that Travelall, the curves and the molding design. I don't love the departure angle, but it looks so cool. A 2-door version might be a nice kit bash. But man, the other night on my Bambu tutorial, I did the scale. I figured out the scale for the Corvair. 160.85, homie. So we just got to get our mounting figured out on the 6s, and I'm going to rock out a Corvair, dude, again. I'm loving printing these multiples of the same thing, but I'm ready to do something else too. But the next tutorial is going to be, I'm printing a white Ford with a red door using the AMS. And then a guy asked for how I choose my orientation and how I refine the layer height on the areas that are going to be a problem. So I will show that too. I'll show it two different ways with the adaptive layer height, and then you can scrub and control it. And then you can also do height range modifier as well. I did a video on the modifier, Kelly, filmed it last night and released it today. I was able to get the infill down to 5 on this whole truck and then beef it up where it counts on the mount and save like a bunch of weight on it. Yeah, man. That Travelall you're talking about has like a white hood and roof, doesn't it? Yeah. I mean, that's the beauty, man. You guys, you can do anything you think of. I mean, look at Kelly's bug truck. Look at the mutt cuts. All this tweaking we're doing. I mean, about everything we're messing with is made to look good on the fireplace. And we're driving them, brother. 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 Moss green and killer patina. Okay. There was a red and white one I saw on a trailer. Killer patina, huh? Oh, speaking of patina, I'm gonna have to get some of this filament. Have you seen that filament that's got the metal in it? And you can literally rust out the filament with like salt and water or something. Bruh. I want to try it bad. Proto something. If you're in a printing, you've probably seen the ads on Facebook. Protoplast or something like that. They make I think it's a PLA or something with iron in it, and it rusts. Dude, hello. That's like my love language. Got rust. Yeah, probably because I grew up where you couldn't flush the toilets. You know what I'm saying? Hillbilly high heaven. I'm down to revisit the Travelall. I think everything needs the RC3 Fab Factory treatment at this point. I haven't thought about a bug yet. There's so much other stuff we want to do. I'd like to do a bug eventually. The thing about those is you can actually find them in Lexan. So kind of trying to do things you can't really get. But we've got so many things in line right now. You know, I mean, the F-250s are close enough to be available. Couple other trucks, K5, Blazer. Yeah, that's cool. I think guys like that aren't into RC are more inclined to get one that's already done instead of a kit. But that's the beauty of the blemish. You know, when a print comes off and I don't love it for a person, it's fine for me because I can clean it up and make it nice. So there's more of that. Harvester in the Holler is next, coming in September. At the same place? That'd be cool. Save your RTR radios. Literally. Save them. Custom RTRs. Let's go. I'm not even kidding, brother. Whatever it takes. Tennessee. They have an off-road RC park. Nice. Well, tomorrow's going to be an exciting day for some folks that want to go fast and some folks that want to go slow. So don't forget to check that out. I think I may go live and talk about it tomorrow a little bit. But 4-minute warning. I'm going to get off here in a minute. I haven't watched Harley and Josh for a while. I might actually watch them today. Not sure. What's it called? Harvester in the Holler. Let me see what I can find out real quick. Just like everything else in life, I want to know. I just Google it. Where is Crossville, Tennessee? All right, Kelly. See you later, man. Harvesters in the Holler. Gotta love the internationals, man. Come on. How can you not? Soon as Bizrodney comes out with a 1971 truck, it's on. Dude, Kelly sent me a picture of a Snowstar, the truck version. Bro, it might have been our old one. It had a big dent on the bed side, and I think ours had a tree fall on it back there. Um, it might have been it. It might have been it. And it's, you see the Snowstar Scout, but the truck's even more rare. 1971. It was a collab with Meyer Snowplow. It was the only year they did that paint scheme on those internationals, that yellow and white deal that I like so much. 3.5 hours. That's awesome. Yeah, you should come out. We should try to go there. Kelly and I should get our stuff together to go there. Absolutely. With some custom RTRs, because I don't think these guys are buying kits. The thing about a kit, you got to love kits. You got to love kits, because when you look at a kit, if you don't already love kits, then you look at a kit and instantly you think work. And we live in a world of easy. Box back or truck top for crawling? Both are phenomenal. Truck top's my answer, but both work. Kelly and I would be out running these scouts, and he'd have a box back, and I would have a truck top with heavy trail wheels. And, it was pretty even though he didn't have heavy wheels on. He might have had some deep dish on, which gave him a little bit wider stance, but box back looks fantastic. So I need to print off a couple box backs. I have a couple box backs that I printed off the wrong size. Like, come on. So I got a couple beautiful box backs that are the wrong size. And I'm not going to print off a whole truck wrong just so I can use that lid. I'll be in Colorado for this year, but hoping to cruise there with a Scout of my own next year. Nice. All right, man. See ya. Got to bring an international, Donald. But yeah, Mike, you can't go wrong either way. Man, hit me up. Let me know what you want. And you've got a 10.3, don't you? Would you put it on you have a base camp, right? Would you put it on that, or would you start with a fresh chassis? Bro, I like building those chassis kits so much. I don't even mind. I'd do it. I got another one coming for me. Since I sold my number one red Scout, which hurt my feelings a little. That's a beautiful patina job on that one. And, a low time new 10-3 builder's kit chassis underneath it. I got to replace it, man. I ordered it up last night. A new chassis kit. So one of these lives is going to be a build again. Yes, on the base camp. Yeah, man. It'll work. It'll work. You'll have portal axles, but who's counting? Who's counting? It'll still fit because it's all about the bumper mounts, which we send along with it. Man, let me know. There's obviously there's kits out there, but we've got enough of them. I'm looking at 3 of them that are already assembled and glued up right now. They just need paint. One of them's painted, and 2 of them need paint. So yeah, brother, we can work it out. Any of you. I mean, obviously the kits are cool because they're parts and you do it, but it's really easy to assemble them. Super, especially with the locator stuff. Hello. It's so easy. And then they drop right on. I mean, 2 bumper mounts and you're in the game. That's it. So cool. All right, guys, that's the 4-minute. How do you normally go about doing interiors on your SCX6 bodies? So the interiors on those, the same way with the majority of our 10 scale stuff, is it's going to just be, we do the seats and the dash and the door cards. A lot of times on these, because they're not leafers, you've got a transmission in the way. And so you can't really do much for the interior. So we do the seats, the door cards, the dash, the steering wheel, and you're going to see the stuff underneath. But once all that stuff's in there, you really don't see it. Like R6s, and if you watch the videos, there's tons of them on this channel, 3D printed trucks. Most of them, there's no real floor in them, but they all have enough interior that you don't notice. So that's really what it is. Would I consider doing bodies for the TF2? Yeah. I think down the road. They just released, they're offering TF2 kits again, builder's kits, and you can get it with the Yoda axles, or you can get it with like the Chevy style axles. And those are leafers. So those give you more opportunity to leave the interior alone. And in that case, the interior files are there. So you can keep more of it. A couple of the leafers I've done, I've definitely had interiors in them. But these center mounted transmissions on the Axial 6 and 10-3s, it's right there in the way. But I run driver, seats, door cards, dash, steering wheel, and it's a nice mix. It's not a boom racing kit where you got a full interior, but there's also super less work to do. Long or short wheelbase. Yeah, on those kits, I'm not sure what they're doing, what they're offering. And I don't have one to, give to Kelly I sold the FJ55 TF2 long wheelbase that I had the other day. And they offer both on the wheelbase. Nice. And there are a handful of other guys doing, truck bodies and stuff on those and offering interiors. So on the custom side of things, trying to kind of not stay in our lane, but focus on where we're at. So I would love to do that eventually. I would like to do You know, the Vanquish VS410 is an amazing platform. The thing about the new Classic, though, is the shock towers and the inner fenders are the same piece. And so we haven't quite done it yet, although we've got it scanned in. But the inner fenders are a lot to negotiate. And our goal usually with this stuff is to keep it as simple as possible. So I'd hate to put a kit out there that required you to strip away the inner fenders and source different shock towers so you could do it. So until we were to design our own that could actually come with the kit and replace what's there, we're sticking with axial for now. And of course, TRX 4s are a thing, and they come in multiple wheelbases too. So there's a lot to sort. I think the fact that we've got all the various iterations of 10.3s covered is crazy. The only thing we don't have is the long wheelbase Gladiator, but the 10.3s we got wrapped. So that's casting a wide net. And it doesn't matter if it's portal or straight, it'll fit. So that's pretty cool. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Thanks so much. We'll see you in the next one. We're out here in 5. Hanger Rats forever. We'll 3 you later. You're too good to be forgotten. We'll see you next time. Check out those tutorials. Leave a comment or something. Be glad to hear from you, and glad to focus in on what it is you might like to see from those tutorials that I'm doing on 3D printing with the Bambu. A lot of that's going to work no matter what slicer you have, because many of those tools are the same. So even if you don't have a Bambu, feel free to jump in there and still ask for whatever, because chances are it's the same tools that we're working with, even though it's a slightly different platform. So we're out. Thanks so much. Keep your eyes out on releases tomorrow. Links are in the description to the short form content. Amazon, Horizon, Amain, Bambu Labs. If you click through any of those links, it does help support the channel, so super appreciate that. Also, link to RC3D Fab Factory is there. You can find us at RC3D Fab Factory on Facebook group. Post up what you're working on. It doesn't matter what it is. Go for it. RC Pilots Lounge is a Facebook group for my flyer friends. Share what you're doing there. That Facebook group is running itself. It's doing great, and it's been around for quite a while at this point, and that's a great place to go to. So yeah, check us out. We're here for the long haul. We'll see you in the next one. Bye now. Boom.